In a shocking turn of events, former President Donald Trump narrowly escaped an assassination attempt during a 2024 campaign rally. This close call serves as a chilling reminder of the 4 U.S. presidents who weren't as fortunate. From Lincoln's fateful night at Ford's Theater to Kennedy's tragic ride through Dallas, these assassinations have left deep scars on our nation. In this History Scroll video, we will explore the circumstances surrounding each of these presidential assassinations and their lasting impact on American society and politics. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was the first to be assassinated while in office. On April 14, 1865, just 5 days after the surrender of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, effectively ending the Civil War, Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. Lincoln was attending a performance of the comedy Our American Cousin with his wife Mary Todd Lincoln, when Booth, a well-known actor and Confederate sympathizer, entered the presidential box and shot Lincoln in the back of the head with a single-shot Derringer pistol. After shooting Lincoln, Booth leaped from the box onto the stage, famously shouting, "Sic semper tyrannis," Latin for "thus always to tyrants." Lincoln was carried to a nearby boarding house where he died the following morning on April 15, 1865. His death sent shockwaves through the nation, which was still reeling from the aftermath of the Civil War. Lincoln's assassination dramatically altered the course of Reconstruction, as his successor, Andrew Johnson, took a much more lenient approach towards the defeated Confederate states. Booth was tracked down and killed by Union soldiers on April 26, 1865, while several of his co-conspirators were arrested and later executed or imprisoned. James A. Garfield, the 20th President of the United States, was the second to be assassinated in office. He was shot on July 2, 1881, just 4 months into his presidency. Garfield was shot by Charles Guiteau at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station in Washington, D.C. Guiteau, a disgruntled office seeker who had been denied a diplomatic post, fired 2 shots at the president. One bullet grazed Garfield's arm, while the other lodged in his back. Unlike Lincoln's immediate death, Garfield lingered for 79 days before succumbing to his wounds on September 19, 1881. During this time, his doctor's attempts to locate and remove the bullet likely contributed to the infection that ultimately killed him. Alexander Graham Bell even attempted to use an early metal detector to find the bullet, but was unsuccessful. Garfield's death led to increased public awareness of the need for presidential security and sparked a reform of the civil service system to reduce the influence of political patronage. Guiteau was found guilty of assassination and was executed by hanging on June 30, 1882. William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States, became the 3rd president to be assassinated in office on September 6, 1901. McKinley was shot while attending the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. The assassin, Leon Czolgosz, was an anarchist who had been inspired by recent assassinations of European leaders. Czolgosz approached McKinley during a public reception at the Temple of Music and fired 2 shots at close range with a concealed revolver. Initially, McKinley's prognosis seemed positive, and he even appeared to be recovering. However, gangrene set in around his wounds, and he died 8 days later on September 14, 1901. McKinley's death elevated Vice President Theodore Roosevelt to the presidency, ushering in the progressive era of American politics. The assassination led to increased security measures for the president and other public officials. It also contributed to a backlash against anarchists and other radical political groups in the United States. Czolgosz was quickly tried, convicted, and executed in the electric chair on October 29, 1901. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was the 4th and most recent president to be assassinated in office. His death on November 22, 1963, shocked the nation and the world. Kennedy was shot while riding in an open-top limousine through Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. The assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, fired 3 shots from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository building. 2 bullets struck Kennedy, with the fatal shot hitting him in the head. Kennedy was rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital, but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The assassination of such a young and charismatic president deeply traumatized the American public and had far-reaching consequences on both domestic and foreign policy. Oswald was arrested hours after the shooting but was himself shot and killed 2 days later by Jack Ruby while being transferred to a county jail. The circumstances surrounding Kennedy's assassination have been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories and continue to be debated to this day. The Warren Commission, established by President Lyndon B. Johnson to investigate the assassination, concluded that Oswald acted alone. However, many Americans remain skeptical of this conclusion. Each of these assassinations had a profound impact on presidential security measures in the United States. Lincoln's assassination led to the creation of the Secret Service in 1865, though its primary function at the time was to combat counterfeiting. Garfield's assassination highlighted the need for better screening of individuals who came into contact with the president. McKinley's assassination finally resulted in the Secret Service being officially charged with presidential protection in 1901. Kennedy's assassination led to significant enhancements in presidential security protocols, including the use of bulletproof limousines and increased restrictions on public access to the president. While these 4 presidents were tragically killed in office, several other presidents and presidential candidates have survived assassination attempts. Andrew Jackson was the target of the first known assassination attempt on a sitting U.S. president in 1835. Theodore Roosevelt was shot while campaigning for a 3rd term in 1912, but survived thanks to a folded speech and eyeglass case in his pocket. Franklin D. Roosevelt survived an attempt on his life in 1933, just weeks before his inauguration. Harry S. Truman survived an attempt by Puerto Rican nationalists in 1950. Gerald Ford survived 2 separate attempts within 17 days of each other in 1975. Ronald Reagan was shot and seriously wounded in 1981, but survived and made a full recovery. Donald Trump, while no longer in office, survived an assassination attempt during a campaign rally in 2024. The assassinations of Abraham Lincoln, James A. Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy stand as stark reminders of the vulnerabilities faced by American presidents throughout history. Each of these tragic events not only cut short the lives of influential leaders, but also had profound impacts on the nation's political landscape, security measures, and collective psyche. Please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.